What's happening, everybody? Welcome for another episode of Charlie Brown Politics. And of course, I'm Charlie Brown, the host of the show. I'm wanting to talk about the WEF today. They are about to have another annual meeting, a Davos meeting, a Davos meeting. This meeting where a group of billionaires all come together, get in a circle, do the circle jerk, and try to talk about the problems that they've caused and how they could fix it and how we should allow them to fix it. And they go off and they virtue signal and they do it in the names of humanitarian and fighting climate change and doing all this stuff that when you first hear it, you're like, oh yeah, that's great. But if you look into it just a little bit, people, you will find out that these are really the people that own everything, they control everything, and they make a lot of decisions behind closed doors that you and I would not agree with. So without further ado, people, I want to get into this. Here we have it. We got the World Economic Forum meeting, and the theme of this year is going to be rebuilding trust. I know, can you believe it? How could the World Economic Forum ever have lost any trust to begin with? It is a wonder that we might be wondering about for a long time. But let's continue. About the meeting, the 54th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum will provide a crucial space to focus on the fundamental principles driving trust, including transparency, consistency, and accountability. Woo! Right off the bat, the first paragraph hitting home with the propaganda. So, let me just read that again. I'll read just a little bit of it. The World Economic Forum will provide a crucial space to focus on the fundamental principles of driving trust, including transparency, consistency, and accountability. All right, so we have transparency, consistency, and accountability. Let me show you a little video of Klaus Schwab, the leader of the World Economic Forum. And he has on his website that he's all about transparency, accountability. Well, here is a independent journalist just trying to ask a simple question. And watch what happens.
Chairman Schwab, I'm from Japan. May I ask you for... I'm from Japan.
Yeah.
And may I ask you for a comment?
No,
we're on our way to the next thing. We're a bit late.
I can just walk with you and then ask questions.
I think we're gonna rush actually. But thank you. Thanks very much.
Which media are you with?
I am an independent journalist from Japan.
No, thank you very much.
Yes.
I have to rush.
Thank you.
And as soon as he asked, which media are you out with? Is it like a major news organization like CNN or somebody that I know will push the propaganda that I want? No, she went, I'm an independent news outlet. He instantly rejected. He did not want to take any questions. So that's going to be the first thing I show you on this long list of hypocriticalness. And it's going to go back and forth, so just buckle in, folks. Okay, so there you have it. Transparency, consistency, and accountability. Well, you can just see that right off the bat that the math ain't mathing up for that. Are they talking about accountability for the real powers that have caused the world to be where it is now, where so many people are struggling financially, where we have never-ending wars across the planet? No, he's not. He's not talking about holding the military-industrial complex accountable. He's not talking about holding major corporations accountable that, have polluted our earth, destroyed our oceans, and so on and so on. No. Let's keep going with this. There's a bit more to uncover. This annual meeting will welcome over 100 governments, all major international organizations, 1,000 foreign partners, as well as civil society leaders, experts, youth representatives, social entrepreneurs, and news outlets. News outlets, huh? Except that independent media journalists that we just showed. So let's scroll down a little further here. There's a lot of interesting stuff on this website. So if you scroll down a little bit, and this is on the actual World Economic Forum website, this is where I'm getting it from. All right, you have 4 key themes that they want to talk about at this meeting, right? Excuse me. So the first thing that they want to talk about is going to be achieving security and cooperation in a fractured world. So, security. Notice the language that they're using here. It isn't talking about freedom. It isn't talking about liberty. It's talking about security. And with that type of language that is used to manipulate you, the audience, the reader, to incite fear and to compromise things like your rights and your liberties for the sake of security, because we live in such a shattered world. Now, we have to take a step back and ask, why is the world so shattered? Why is it so fractured? And it's all the people that gather at the WEF. That's the reason why. Okay, it's not really because of common man folk, people that go out to work every day, put their head down, and just do what they have to do to get by. So that will be the first pillar that they want to talk about at this World Economic Forum. The second thing that they are going to want to talk about is creating growth and jobs for a new era. Jobs, huh? Okay, we're talking about what? The gig economy? Jobs that are low paying, where you work paycheck to paycheck. You don't actually get paid what you are worth. Is that the new jobs that they're talking about? This system that keeps the vast majority of us at a level that we'll never get out of, something where a level that we're trying to always aspire to get out of. Everybody that I know lives paycheck to paycheck, and even people with a decent job. I know plenty of teachers that have hundreds or tens of thousands of dollars in student debt. I've worked with doctors in their 40s and 50s that were still paying off their student debt loans. So, this is a facade. I'm seeing right through it. All of you should be seeing right through it as well. So, these jobs, I don't know what they're talking about. They want us all to be Uber drivers and work these underpaid jobs that don't provide the right benefits and don't pay you what you're actually worth. Let's move on to the third pillar, shall we? Artificial intelligence as a driving force for the economy and society. Whew, okay. Now, artificial intelligence as a driving force to drive the economy. This scares me. And it should scare other people as well, because AI, it's a algorithm. It's a unelected, unaccountable entity that can be manipulated by the person who created it. And it's this ambiguous, I don't know what to say here. I'm going to reuse the word entity that even the creators have a hard time understanding sometimes. But we all know that the AI is used to control and manipulate, especially content and information that gets put out. Look at what the AI does for the YouTube. It has a certain agenda that it wants put out there. It has certain videos that it wants more people to watch. You all know what I'm talking about. If you say certain words and on YouTube that'll set off the algorithm, and they will suppress your channel for it. A lot of people on the left, a lot of people speaking out on controversial topics like Gaza, know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that should be another red flag. And the final pillar that we are going to cover here is going to be a long-term strategy for climate, nature, and energy. Okay, so these are the same people that have destroyed the planet, okay? They are not calling out Monsanto. The WEF is not calling out Monsanto. They're not calling out the United States military-industrial complex that is accountable for the world's biggest carbon footprint. They're not calling out these major companies all over the world that have put poisons into our oceans, into our air, into the soil, into our foods. No, they're calling them all together to work with them to make a plan on how to fix the outcome that they created in the fucking first place. What could go wrong, as my boy Kit from Hardlands Media likes to say? Okay, so there's a few other things on this website, people, that I want to show you. So here we go. This next thing is going to be a timeline of the Davos, sorry, I keep fucking that up, of its history and its origin, how it came about, I guess. And so let's just read a little bit. We're not going to read all of it, but I think you might find a few things interesting in this. So here we go. So when did Davos all begin, and why do thousands of leaders continue to congregate in an icy alpine town every January? On the eve of Davos 2024, here's a historical guide to the annual meeting in Davos and the World Economic Forum itself. In the early 1970s, the Cold War split the world, while the Vietnam War split America. An oil crisis was looming, and a German economic professor had a bright idea. The idea was unconventional at the time, but it has since taken hold. It was Professor Klaus Schwab's stakeholder theory, conceptualized in a book, and meaning that a company should serve all its stakeholders, not just its shareholders. Employees, suppliers, and the community is part of it. The vision for the socially responsible stakeholder capitalism became the guiding principle of the World Economic Forum. So, right off the bat, well, I don't even know how to put this. So right off the bat, we have Klaus Schwab in the 70s, for Christ's sake, coming up with this idea, the stakeholders theory idea. And to be honest with you, I'm not somebody that, has a degree in economics. But when I read that whole paragraph and he's using things like stakeholder theory, and it's this idea that stakeholders should not just benefit the shareholders, it should benefit everybody. It just seems like a bunch of fancy fucking lingo that somebody would put in there to, first off, confuse the reader, confuse people like myself to think that, oh, this is a manager. This is somebody from the top with a heart of gold come to give me a bigger piece of the pie that I deserve. And, this is Santa Claus coming to give me a present because I've been such a good boy and such a good little girl. And at the end of the year, I'm not going to get a lump of coal. I'm going to get a bigger salary. No, okay. This is just confusing. I don't know what he's actually putting behind this, but this is a virtue signal. This is an ambiguous paragraph. It's a ambiguous statement to, like I said, just confuse people and to make people think that it's a good thing. But come on, we all know what's happening with the WEF. All right, let's continue with this propaganda article, shall we? All right. Professor Schwab, an engineer and economist, founded the Forum in 1971 as a not-for-profit foundation under the supervision of the Swiss federal government to promote stakeholder capitalism. He chose Davos as the home for the annual meeting for the escape from the everyday that the mountains represent in Swiss and German culture, and most famously captured in the novel The Magic Mountain. The spirit of Davos is an attitude of openness and cooperation that sets the tone for the annual meeting to this day. Yeah, sets the tone of openness and cooperation. What about cooperation with just working class people, independent journalists, media, and people that don't have a agenda behind it? We all know that they're not talking about that cooperation. They're talking about the motherfuckers that have already ruined the planet and destroyed it, and now they want us to fucking come around and hold hands and sing Kumbaya and try to fucking fix up their mess up. Sorry, I got off on a little tangent there. Okay, over the last 50 years, Davos has addressed the key events of the world, from the fall of the Berlin Wall to the rise of economic globalization and runaway climate change. It has helped avert a war between Greece and Turkey, built economic bridges around the world, hosted a handshake that sealed the end of an apartheid, launched an alliance that has vaccinated more than 1 billion children, and given a platform to leading environmentalists. Really, has the WEF given a platform to the leading environmentalists? Well, maybe in their eyes they have, okay, but have they invited Gabe Brown, one of the leading farmers in the U.S., on regenerative farming? One of the answers that we need to be leaning towards instead of giving our trust to something like Monsanto. Have they contacted the owner of White Oak Pastures? Have they contacted Joel Salatin, another leading voice for regenerative farming? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. But the pothead comedian Joe Rogan had all of those people. Well, I don't think he's had Gabe Brown on, but he's had White Oak Pastures owner and Joel Salatin on his podcast years ago. But somehow all the world's greatest minds can't come together and pick out two of the best minds when it comes to the farming that we need for the planet. Okay, just throwing that out there. Let's continue on. While working towards the forum's mission statement of improving the state of the world, Davos, damn it, has also weathered criticism along the way as a gathering of distant elites or a futile talking shop. But its aim is to gather all those who have a stake in our common future. The leader of global corporations are invited, but so too are academics, activists, youth, and civil society leaders. And to dismiss talk is, in Professor Schwab's words, to discount the lifeblood of democracy. So, okay. First thing, this thing has been going on since 1971. This group of leaders that want to get in a room and circle jerk each other and act like they're actually working in the interest of the working class people or some shit like that. Then why is the world so shitty today? If y'all have been having this meeting and this plan since 1971, why do we still have endless war? Why do people still live paycheck to paycheck? I wonder why. The answer is because that's not what it's really about. It's about you keeping your global cabal, your global freaking organized crime group in power, in play. That's what it's really about. Okay. So let me show you guys a few other things here that that I thought were just interesting. So here we go. This is just a tweet that I thought. The Davos meeting on the 15th of January to discuss rebuilding trust. They know they have no trust from us, and they will use psychological tactics to try and build it. Do not trust whatever they say. They have their ideology, and they plan to manipulate you once again. That's right. We have to reject and absolutely not trust what these people say. These are, like I said before, the same people that have fucked up the planet. They're the same people that have put poison into our skies. They're the same people that have polluted our soils, that have acidified our oceans. And now they want us all to come together and hold hands and sing Kumbaya and try to make it like a feel-good session and fix the planet together when they're the ones that fucked it up, when it's their fault. Okay, they want us to make the sacrifice. Okay, they want all of us to do the hard work while they continue on their freaking yachts, while they continue flying around on their private planes. Meanwhile, I have to give up my way of farming. They're asking farmers in Europe to lower their amounts of cattle, meaning they want them to kill their cattle. But Bill Gates cannot sell his $250 worth of private jets. These people cannot sell their private yachts that commit way more of a carbon footprint than you and I will ever put down. No, they're not asking you and I to make the sacrifice. They're asking, or they're not asking themselves to make the sacrifice. Excuse me. They're asking us. All right. Okay, so here's a little video. We're not going to watch a lot of it. But this lady is the managing director of the WEF. And she just wants to discuss what are some of the things that they are going to be focusing in on the upcoming meeting. And it's going to... what you hear should scare you. Let's just listen to it real quick.
Sadia, thank you so much for joining us. So you've just released a global risk report for 2024. I have to say, it doesn't look like a happy reading. People are worried. You did shorter term, 2 years, what they worry about in 10 years. What's the most surprising thing?
So in the 2-year time frame, mis and disinformation, #1 risk. So we put together the views of 1,500 experts, and that's what they're most worried about, very closely followed by extreme.
Okay, so there it is. She is a risk assessment manager, some shit like that. I forgot the title of her name. And they put together an assessment that the WEF is going to worry about the most over the next 2 years. And the #1 thing that they are concerned about is mis and disinformation. Now, this is worrisome to myself for obvious reasons. We are already seeing a exorbitant amount of censorship on the internet from Julian Assange, okay? Stay strong, Julian. To what they're doing to people on YouTube, from what they did to Russell Brand. They're wrongfully censoring Kit from Hardlands Media right now for some bullshit copyright strike. So, who decides what's misinformation, disinformation? It's going to be all these global elites that decide that the misinformation and the disinformation is only the information that goes against the agenda that they are wanting to put out themselves. We all know how this is. They're talking about thought police. There are bad thoughts out there that they don't want you to have. Okay, this is 1984 playing out in real life. Good fucking grief. We got to see this, people. Okay. We have another little interview. It's we're just going to play a small portion of it, but this guy quickly sums up the whole essence of what this Davos meeting there, I think I said it right the first time finally, is all about. So without further ado, let's just listen to what this guy has to say.
I think what we've now got is a set of corporate politicians in alignment with technocrats and greedy corporations who are using a virtue con to try and hoover up a lot of our assets, whether it be energy, money, data, and healthcare, and so on. And I think slowly...
And so, I'll repeat what he said. What we have is a group of billionaires and elites that have come together to give a virtue signal to the public, meaning a virtue signal, hey, we're here in the name of a humanitarian reason. We're here in the name of climate change. We're here in the name of your security. We're here in the name to fix the fractured and broken world. Right? Virtue signal. But really, it's just this thing to say, look over here where we steal all of your resources, money, and anything else that can give us power. Okay, so I thought that was just a good clip that kind of sums up what that meeting is all about. Now, what can we do, right? We have to resist. We have to resist. This is a global agenda playing out right before our face, okay? They are controlling and manipulating and affecting world policy all over. We're seeing what they're doing to the German farmers right now. We have to stand in solidarity with them. We have to keep supporting local farmers and keep protesting these bullshit policies that they're trying to throw out in the name of climate change. But if it was really in the name of climate change and for the environment, then these people would give up their yachts, they would give up their fancy planes. But no, they don't. It's not about that, okay? I'm not here to go over the whole dispute if climate change is real or not, but that's not my point here. We can argue all day back and forth on that, but what we cannot argue about is the fact that these global elites are destroying the planet. They're polluting the planet. They are putting pollutions in the skies, in our oceans, and in our soils, and in our foods. That's what cannot be disputed. And they're doing it in the name of fighting climate change and stuff like that. So put the fact of if climate change is real or not aside, we got to focus on they are destroying the planet and they do have some freaking psychotic agenda at play. So like I said, we have to resist. We have to keep supporting independent media, keep supporting the farmers in Germany. Let me show you guys real quick to end it, this off a little bit, what the protesters in Germany are doing. Pretty cool. And they've been going hard. They've been going hard. Non-stop. And this is exactly what we need to do, okay? We cannot accept what they are trying to feed us anymore. These are the same people that are destroying the earth. I cannot say it enough. They're the same people that created DDT, Roundup, Agent Orange. They're the same people that put cancer in baby powder for years, okay? And now they want us to trust them to fix the mistakes that they fucking caused. You have got to be kidding me. Good fucking grief. Okay. So, what do we take? Like I said, we got to keep resisting. We got to keep supporting the protests that are taking place. And I'm going to chant this message as long as I can, because I don't know what else to do. And this is the answer I think is that we should go with. No one from the top is going to save us. No one we elect is going to go outside the WEF or their agenda or fight it. Maybe a little bit, okay, but my point being here, no one from the top is going to save us. Our answer is each other. It's you, it's me. It's us supporting local communities. It's us supporting local businesses. For damn sure, support your local farmers. Go out there, Google it, figure out where one is nearby, and just take a leap of faith and go talk to one, go buy something, go support them a little bit. If you don't have the financial means to support them, share them on your social medias, go retweet their page on Twitter. There's a lot of different ways you can contribute to the independent media, guys. I think us focusing on electoral politics or having any hope in some politician like Cornell or RFK or for fuck's sakes the Democrats or the Republicans, I think it's worthless. It's a waste of time. We need to focus on mutual aid and ourselves, our own family, and our friends. So if you've stayed to the end, thank you so much. I knew this one carried on for a little bit, and it was a lot to cover. So like, share, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And with that being said, I will catch you on the next episode of... I don't know what I did with my hands just there. Charlie Brown Politics. Later, guys.